Hey guys, Andy here, and I'm here to bring you all things Monday to makeup related. If that's your vibe, I'd love if you would subscribe and be part of my little slice of the internet. And in today's video, we're cold. It's so cold in my apartment, but I'm sure it's going to get way too hot because I live on the second floor. But that's not what we're here to talk about. We are here to talk about all of the second chance products, the decluttered products that I'm giving a second chance to, that I have tried. So if you want to hear my little speed reviews, whether I have a recluttered anything in my collection, let's go ahead and get on into it. So honestly, I don't really think I'm going to pull any of the products out. Spoiler alert, did reclutter a couple things. If I have them close to me, I will show them to you. Otherwise, we will just talk about stuff. But I've been keeping everything. These are my sticky notes, my bigger sticky notes. So I have this guy. So we got little sticky notes and big sticky notes. And I love this so very much. I think I got it from Walmart. And normally I don't like Walmart's. They're not sticky notes because they don't have a sticky. They're just little notes. What do you call them if they're not sticky notes? Like, what would these be called? Because they're not sticky. I'm an idiot. It's fine. But my second chance decluttered products. So we'll start with the things that you guys saw that were in here. So I had the Notoriously Morbid Loose Shadow. I believe that was in the shade Funeral Pyre. I already sent that off in a Mercari package as like a little freebie to someone. So it had no shine on the eyes. I tried it as an inner corner shade. Like, it's a pretty color. It ended up having like a little bit of a blue, but like you couldn't see the shift. I couldn't see any red shift, and there was nothing special to it. I want my single shadows to have sparkle, to have shine, to have a duochrome, to have something. Like, specifically my loose shadows. That did nothing for me. So, gone. That's already gone out of my collection. Not just waiting for somebody to come take it. That's already gone. Speaking of plugging my Mercari, it's in the description box. I always send little freebies with my stuff, because, like, take it. Look at my cute spooky cup. It does condensate, which I hate, but it's a soft matte. It's my new coffee cup. Specifically coffee cup, because I drink cold coffee. The Armani Liquid Shadow, that was in the shade Rose Ashes, so it was like a rose gold. It swatches so pretty, and that's what made me so angry about that shadow. So it just didn't have enough shift on the eyes, not enough color payoff to wear alone, and it's not a good base shadow. Like, shadows on top of it didn't want to stick to it. It didn't blend out nicely. It was just no good. Decluttered. Fully decluttered. If I'm saying decluttered, they're decluttered for a second time. They're gone. Gone to the abyss. The Artist Couture Loose Shadow, I believe that was in the shade Conceited. I will refer you back to my intro video for a few of these things. But, yeah, some of these. Like, once we get into the rest of this, you'll see. But it was fine. It was shiny. It was sparkly. But I have other things specifically in that shade. Because it was very much like Rodeo Drive, like Champagne Pop. Those types, like, it was in that color family that I just didn't need that specifically. So that's gone. That's decluttered. But, like, it was good. That one was actually good. I just have other things in that color that I didn't need that. The Hidden Cosmetics Loose Shadow, I believe that was in the shade Karma. I should have written that down. All of these I should have written down what shade they were in. But the shift on that was just, you couldn't see it. It literally went on the one color, and no matter what way I turned, what lights, natural light, fancy light, flash, you couldn't see the shift. There was no shine. Like, it was a pretty color, but absolutely not. Decluttered all of those. So now we're moving on to a couple palettes. The palettes that we had from the first video. Let me just hang on, because I have this right next to me. Let's just take a moment to call me a dumbass for all of the shit that I've talked about this palette. So listen, I'll explain. I feel so stupid. And you know what's funny? So somebody bought this on Mercari, packaged it up, went to sell it out before I even tried it again. But I couldn't sell it. I don't have a UPS location near me. And that was before I realized I could change how I ship things on Mercari. Mercari doesn't tell you that. Mercari is a whole thing. If you want a video on how, like, Mercari works, let me know. Because I could do that now. I understand what I'm doing now. But I didn't know that. So I had to refund them and cancel it. And then Mercari yelled at me. So then I had the palette back. So I was like, I'm going to try it again. If I have it, I'm going to retry it, right? Which is why I put it in the intro video. So I did one look with the neutrals. And I used the white shade. And I used this entire top row of neutrals. And then, so I used this shimmer donor. I used sweetener. And then I used Candy Floss's Manor Corner. It was a beautiful look. Then for the pinky look, I used Cavity, I used Root Canal, I used Prick, I think I used Cherry Soda, I might not have. I used Fresh Meat and I used Extraction. And then for shimmers, I used Blood Sugar. Hate that that's the only, like, red shimmer. There should be more shimmers in this palette. I prefer, I know this is an older palette, but I prefer half and half shimmers to mattes, personally, in my palettes. So then I went into Sweetener again, and then Candy Floss. Candy Floss for my inner corner. I thought I just dug my finger into that, and I did not. So what I will say, I don't like that, like, these are the only two reds. That it's a very... For it being a red palette, it's pink and purple. And that's what I've always hated. And that's why I've hated this palette. And I've hated that it's very neutral. But now looking at it without these rose-colored glasses, literally Blue Blood is the same way. Blue Blood does have less neutrals. It's not half neutral, half whatever the other is supposed to be. Blue Blood has all of, like, 5 neutrals instead of half the palette. I do want to try this shade because that shade is so cool toned that I am very, very excited to try that. So, all of that suffice to say, my looks came out nicely. This is a very pigmented pink. Very pigmented. Oh my god, pigmented. It does stain. I don't normally get staining on my eyes, but oh my god, did that pink stain. The mattes are nice. The mattes are nice. His formula is nice. That's why I have as many Jeffree Star palettes as I do. I was mad at this palette for just being a dick. I will say, this Blood Sugar shade is kind of lame. For it being, like, and for it being the shade Blood Sugar, it's kind of lame. The shade Donor, the shade is very crumbly on the eyes. Sweetener is great, and Candy Floss, they're great. But I wish there were more. I wish there was more red in the palette. I really, really do. DW, if you're watching this, I know you like how pinky purple it is, but I wish there was more red. I really do. Like, you could have taken out some of the neutral, like, keep the pinky purple, take out some of the neutrals, give more red. Because, like, Blue Blood only has 5 or 6. You could have taken out a couple of the neutrals, give us more red. But I just wish there was more shimmers. I wish there was more shimmers. But I did reclutter this to my collection, and you guys can call me a dumbass all you want. I will take it, and that is okay. Because I understand that, and I know. So, that is recluttered. Then, since we're on the train of calling me a dumbass, so, what had happened was, I am currently in the mood for mints. Now again, I don't know. I'm currently in the mood for neutrals, which I've never wanted neutrals before. I want taupe, and I've never wanted taupe before. And I want mint. And I've never wanted mint on my eyes before. Now granted, I know what you're saying, Andy, you don't need a whole palette of mints to want mint on your eyes. But listen, I know I have a couple, I think I have two or three mint single shadows, but they're shimmers. This gives me mint mattes. And granted, later, if I get out of the mood for mints and no longer want this, I can declutter it then. But right now, I'm just in the mood for mints. These perform well, so I want it. The look was really pretty on my eyes. It really brought out, because my eyes are blue-green, and this really brought out the light color in my eyes. Which, tell me, because when I went to the DMV when I was 17, because it's a whole thing, and I told them my eyes were blue-green, they put it as hazel on my license. Is that correct? Just because my eyes are technically more than one shade, does that make them hazel? Because they are not brown. They never turn brown. There is no brown in my eyes. They are just blue-green. Food for thought. So then I had the Glaminatrix Loose Shadow in the shade Kiwi. So it was pretty in the swatch. Beautiful in the swatch. It was very pretty and sparkly and shiny on the eyes. It really transformed the look that I did. It made it, like, it just had this soft sparkle. So I recluttered that. It is back in my collection. I'm a dummy dum-dum. Now back into Let's Getting Angry, because I decluttered the next few things. So we had the Smashbox Earthy palette. That is in the garbage. The mattes were powdery. They didn't want to blend alone. They didn't want to blend on top of each other. It's just bad. The shimmers, the three shimmers, if you can call them that, were trash. All three of them. They're bad. Just bad, bad, bad. The only redeeming quality was that very first gold shimmer, the one that, you know, exploded because I accidentally dropped the palette 2 feet. So, garbage. I literally threw the palette in the garbage. Then we have the DD Signature palette, and the mattes were okay. They were just too light for me. I had to build them a whole bunch, and with my carpal tunnel, I don't want to have to do that. The shimmers, so 3 of them were this very smooth, beautiful formula. But the shade Latte, which, if you're looking at the palette, is the 3rd one in, it was that flaky texture, and I just didn't like how that went on the eyes, and I just didn't like that shade. So I decluttered that, and that actually is already on its way to someone. That already got sold. It's gone. Love that for me. The Urban Decay, where is it? Where did I put it? Because, spoiler alert, I kept it. It's right here. Get out of there. Come here. The Urban Decay, so do you call it Urban Decay Naked or Naked Urban Decay? I don't, but this is the Robin Eisenberg. I love the artwork on this so much. This is the only naked palette I have. So it looks like this. So let me just read what I said. I did use every shade in the palette for my look. I did, obviously, a more neutral look and a more blue look. The neutral side's okay, but it doesn't make the most earth-shattering look, because it didn't. I love this shade because it's not a matte. It's like a satin, and it's not like a bone white. It's got a red shift, and it's so pretty. I used it as the inner corner shade on both looks. This is beautiful. But, so I put Solar Storm, Crease, Built Up Mango Sun, then I put Foxfire in the outer corner, and then I did Holidays as my outer corner shimmer, then Exoplanet, then Pulsar, and then I just did a tiny bit of Ion mixed like on top of This Is Moon Sand, just to kind of sheer out the gold. And that was that look. And it turned out really pretty, but like, it's just not the most earth-shattering look. It's a nude look, but it was pretty. So then for the blue look, I first went in with this for the inner corner. Then I went in with the blue matte, which is beautiful. Then I deepened up the look with, I think I went in with this middle shade, Alien Babe. I used it as like a satin. It was pigmented because it's a shimmer. It's not a satin, but I really blended it out and used that. And then I went in with Foxfire and blended that out as well with it. And then I used Space Pod and Ice Crater as my shimmers. And then I just went into Moon Sand as my inner corner, and that created the most ethereal, like, sultry blue, gorgeous look. It was just absolutely stunning. I really loved the quality. Have to keep it recluttered, beautiful, gorgeous. So now, the next 3 pages are stuff that you guys didn't see, that I'm no longer friends with someone, so I had a whole package of stuff that I was going to send to them that I'm no longer sending to them, so I had to go through it. And in going through it, there were a few things that I was like, I want to retest that, because it's either I retest it or it's going in the garbage. So, here we are. So I had the Rimmel London Vitamin Boost Primer. It was just a little mini, and it had a velvety texture. It had no scent. I just got that in Ipsy in like February or March, and I thought she would like it better, and they didn't. So, well, they're not going to get it. But it hydrated my skin, felt nice. It'll be an easy finish because it's just a little mini primer. So, and I've been looking for a hydrating primer, so I'm actually pretty excited about that. But look at this. I am so close to finishing this e.l.f. Power Grip that I want to finish this first. I don't love it, to be honest. It's a great gripping primer. I just don't need a gripping primer. So that's why I don't love it, because I don't need it. But it is great. Then we have the Patrick Ta bronzer. I had it in She's Statuesque. The cream, great shade, like tone for me, but I have to build it up. The powder, ass. The shade is just orange. Just orange. And it's so powdery and like kind of hard pan, but not hard. Weird texture. Bad. No good, very bad. The ColourPop blush in Truffle Shuffle, and I just want to show you this. It was powdery. It had so much kick up. I tried both of my blush brushes, and it did not want to show up on the skin. So, gone. But I did decide to keep the packaging for that, because it has a really nice magnetic closure. It has a mirror. So, just for like, ow, it pinched me. Just for like possible repressing purposes, I did decide to keep that packaging. I just thought that that'd be interesting to show you guys. I don't keep a lot of packaging. That really hurt. That's never done that for repressing purposes, but I really liked that. a L'Oreal bronzer. It was the Lumi Bronze It, the big one. It was just too light for me. Like, I sat there and I was like, I'm gonna build this and build this and build this. And it just doesn't show up. And again, I don't want to have to, like, this motion hurts. So, gone. The ABH Iced Out Highlighter. Pretty color, but it just didn't have a whole lot of shine. Like, it did on my nose, but not on my cheeks. And I have white golds in like 3 other highlighters. So, decluttered. Ofra Rodeo Drive. It was pretty. It's pretty. It has a lot of shine, but it's literally the same color as Champagne Pop. And I like Champagne Pop better. So, I'm just going to keep that. And I decluttered it. The ColourPop liner in Wildcat. So, it's a beautiful olive green, but it's a shimmer. And I don't like shimmering liners. That's all that is. So, declutter. The Give Beauty Loose Shadow in the shade Dazzle. So it's a pretty shade. It's like a warm brown. But, and I don't know why this one does it, because my shade Twinkle does not do this. The glitter is separate, like, from the pigment. So, like, you get, like, glitter fallout, but you get a brown pigment. It's just bad. Decluttered that. And then the very last item, before we talk about these couple things, is the Morphe Avani Greg Gloss in the shade Perfectly Pouty. Oh, actually, I decluttered. I didn't write these down. These 2. So I have this gloss. I recluttered this because it has a green shift, and I have finished 2 of these. They're really easy to finish because there's not a lot of gloss in here, so recluttering that because it's pretty. It's a pretty shade. It smells fine. I was just going to give this to my friend because it was cute, so. And then I recluttered this one. This is a Morphe and Jeffree Star Gloss in Star Crown. My friend liked Jeffree Star more than me, so I was just going to give them this. And it's a really light shade, and they were more pale than me, so I thought they could use it better. But I'm going to use it as a brightening shade for lipsticks. So, because it's a very opaque gloss. Like, that is the color it will go on your lips. And then I recluttered this little, it's a lip balm. Like, it does not go on your lips. It goes on clear. This is from Beauty Counter, the Jellies. And this is the shade Pomegranate. And this does not smell like pomegranate, and that makes me so upset. It smells like vanilla with a hint of, like, berry. But it's got that silicone tip. So it feels really nice, hugs your lips. It's really comfy. I think I was giving this to them just because it was cute. But that's going to sit on my desk now. So that is all of that. So all we have left to talk about. So I have not touched the 3 palettes that I made. I have not touched those yet. I also want to try out, this is a Luxe B Aesthetics glitter. It's in the shade Cassius. It has just like a nice texture, so I do want to try this. And then this was a palette of shades that they wanted. And I actually think it's a really nice color story. So I'm going to add this to the palettes of decluttered shades that I want to try. So that's all I have left for things that I want to try are those palettes and then this glitter, unless anything else comes up. But otherwise, that's going to do it for today's update. I mean, I only recluttered a couple things. I'm not mad about it. But if you want to take a look at anything I have decluttered, like I said, check the description box. Otherwise, I appreciate you being here. Leave any questions, comments, concerns in that comment section, and I will have a nice chat with you there. And I will see you in the next one. Bye, guys!